What is up, guys? Jerry, Sheepdog Ops. So I know what you're looking at isn't the normal scene that you're used to seeing here. We normally have ourselves a nice guest. We normally have ourselves a mic and with Battle Rattle. Today you are fortunate to just get my sultry voice over this podcast. So I'm kind of excited about this. I know that we've had some really cool guests on. Between Ryan being on and Tyler and Matt, the last few casts that we had where we actually did video. And then if you guys haven't had the chance to actually check out the audio portion, we've done some really, really cool people. We had some corrections officers, some military guys, some guys who've done a little bit of both military and were sheriff or cops or stuff like that. So I highly suggest you go check them out. We're on most major platforms. You can find us on Android, you can find us on Google, you can find us on iTunes. All you got to do is look up Sheepdog Ops. We're there. It'll probably come up with just Sheepdog Ops, but sometimes it's a combination of that and Battle Royale, since we are kind of combined right now. And going forward in the future, we plan on staying that way because we enjoy our relationship here. So, but besides having all the guests and doing all the value segments and talking about a lot of things like how to deal with goal planning and how to set yourself up for success, which is a lot of what we want to do here. Whether you want to be in any of these sheepdog mindset kind of jobs or ideal time frame kind of things where it's all high stress, high energy, high motivation. I kind of wanted to sit down and break it down a little bit for you as far as what I wanted to do when I did this or set this whole thing up. I know I've talked about it with Mike a little bit, and we did a whole back and forth on our very first audio podcast, but I haven't done it really on here for the video portion or for the vlog portion of this. And I wanted to take the opportunity, since I didn't have any guests this week and I didn't have Mike on with me, to kind of explain what I thought or what I was developing when I started this whole thing out. And it really has grown into something extraordinary, if you ask me. I've had the opportunity to meet a ton of awesome guys, a ton of people who run different businesses and have great connections. I've had the opportunity to really reach out and talk to all sorts of police officers, sheriff, different military members, firefighters, EMS guys. I've really had the opportunity. And, you know, a lot of those guys have opened up my eyes to how far this career field or how far this mindset really reaches. And I think that's the biggest part when I started this, that I didn't realize it had so much reach like it does now. And I know we're new and we're just starting this and we're reaching out to a lot of people. I've had a lot of really cool people reach out to me, actually. And we've started building relationships that I'm really excited to see flourish when they bring them on here and get them on camera and just talk about their experiences and their life, you know, especially in this job, or in these jobs, I should say. So let's kind of, I want to kind of break down, let's go back to the beginning. Most of you probably haven't listened to the original podcast that we did when it was just me and Mike, and we introduced this whole concept. We introduced the concept and we took a 2-week break before we even interviewed people, because we wanted to make sure we were doing what we wanted to do as far as reaching out to the right people and getting the right stories online and getting the right stories on this podcast specifically. So with that being said, we go back, I think I started this back last October. I was doing my classes. Actually, the concept, we'll go back a little bit further. So the concept for this whole thing was, back when I was in school for my AA or my AS, I was getting a degree in criminology and emergency response management. A lot of the people that I got to talk to, and a lot of the people who were my instructors and things like that, which you guys have probably heard them on here, or you'll see them in a lot of the videos that I have on this channel or on the YouTube channel, is they're instructors there. They are instructors at the school, and they are all former, in some way, shape, or form, former law enforcement officers. I know that the head instructor out there Brenda. I love her to death, and I'm trying to do everything I can to get her on the show. But I think that's what I'm finding the hardest with is women don't want to get on camera. But we're gonna get a bunch of them on camera. I've got a few of them, and I don't mean that in the way that you guys are thinking. I know what you guys' sick minds are thinking. But to get her on camera to share some of her story, because you get a difference of perspective from that. And Brenda is a sweetheart. I love her to death. She was the lead instructor over at the Institute of Technology, and she has given me the ability to talk to all her instructors and to use the facilities and to just kind of grow this whole thing through that school and through my program of being there, actually. So I give her all the thanks for what she's let me do over there. She's got an amazing team of instructors over there that have 20 plus years for most of them, or 10 plus years, and then they were medically retired, and then they've been trying to just stay in the field and stay with it because they enjoy it so much and they want to give back to the people who want to continue doing that. So she was corrections for quite some time at a county jail here, and she's just got some amazing stories, and I really wish that she would get on sooner than later, but I also know she's a busy woman trying to build that program to what it is now. And then we've got some of the people that we've actually heard between Jesse and Dan, and you're going to hear from Scott here shortly. I'm trying to get a couple other instructors on, but I want to make sure that they're comfortable with it and they feel like they're getting everything they want out of it. And all those guys are amazing, and they're great, and they have amazing stories. And I really wish we could get them to record the way that they with the passion and to show it. I couldn't show it in the audio portions, and I really am bummed. So that's why we're going to go back and get the video added on. But they have so much passion for what they do, and so much passion for teaching and for being in the correction, or for being in the law enforcement field, because all of them are still in, or just recently, within months ago, got out of law enforcement and are still working around it, or in some way have their hands involved in it. So having those guys has been absolutely incredible. Jesse is if you haven't listened to his podcast, it's one of my favorite. Him and Dan, they just blew it out of the water with how much knowledge they sunk into it, and how much just care that they're trying to give back into people who want to do this, or who everyday life have to deal with some of the things that we're talking about. Like when we had Jesse on, we were talking about how you need to get rid of some of the stuff that you carry in your backpack, the bricks that you hold on for emotional things. And it was just an incredible way to listen to him explain why it's so important, and to explain the changes from when his dad was a cop, or his grandfather was a cop, to when he was a cop, or when he was getting out of being a cop. I have a lot of respect for them, and I have a lot of respect for everyone we have on here. So when Dan was on, we sat here and we talked about iron sharpening iron, how if you don't take care of the people around you, you're not taking care of yourself. So let's get back on track, because I feel like I'm starting to ramble a little bit. That's kind of a bad thing. Anyway, so when I was at school with them, with Brenda and Jesse and Dan and all these guys, I just had this concept that, because we went through this book, Scott introduced me to this book called On Killing, and it just kind of went through the mindset that goes with between the series of On Killing and On Combat. He introduced those to me. They just kind of go through that mindset of being a sheepdog, those people who are willing to protect the people around them. And if I haven't quite explained the sheepdog concept, you can go through that just briefly right now. That the world is built up of three different kind of people. You have your sheep, who are your normal average Joe, your average Betty, the people, everyday people that go about their day with no problem. Then you have the wolf, and the wolf preys on the sheep. The wolf is what we would consider in today's society as criminals, people who are willing to take advantage of those who just kind of go about their day. They don't pay attention to simple things around them, and the wolf watches that. The wolf is the one who, once they kind of stray from the herd, will take them out. And it's absolutely true in today's society, that you have wolves, you have criminals, you have bad guys. And it's as simple as that. You've got bad guys. And then there's the sheepdog. And the sheepdog looks a lot like the wolf. And the sheepdog acts a lot like the wolf. But the one difference between the sheepdog and the wolf is, even though they are connected slightly, there is a concept here that the sheepdog, although they understand the wolf and they understand what the wolf is doing, they have this desire to protect the sheep. And a sheepdog could easily be a wolf with no problem. They have the teeth, they have the body, they have the mindset to be able to do bad things. But the one difference is that they're willing to, they want to, they're going to protect the rest of the herd. They're going to protect the sheep because that's what they're built to do. And you'll find a lot of concepts when people are talking about this, and you see it today especially, is that the sheep is afraid of the sheepdog until they need the sheepdog, because the sheepdog has the teeth like the wolf. The sheepdog looks like the wolf. But having that one small component which changes them, which is that desire to help people, it just, I think it defines this entire channel, because you have this group of people, firefighters, cops, paramedics, military members, whether you're Air Force, Army, Navy, and those other pretend branches or breaks off branches. You have this mindset of those people right there that truly just are there to protect theirs. And for me, going through that schooling and going through and learning a lot about this kind of things from people who have done it, including myself, because I have my time in the military. I've spent my time alongside the military since I got out. It's just a different mindset, and you find that you don't fit in with the rest of the sheep like you want to. And the idea behind the channel was, when I was going through school and we were going through these concepts, is thinking about, what do we always focus on when we're talking about first responders, or what do we always focus on when we're talking about military members? And I think the biggest problem that I saw, when you go through almost every single news article, you go through almost every single YouTube channel, majority of them, they focus on the really, really bad. You don't see a ton of stories where they're talking about the good things. You don't see a ton of stories where they're actually talking about how to prevent things, how to save people, how to stop yourself, or to understand why you're doing what you're doing. And that was my biggest problem. Felt like the training that was supposed to be out there, or the videos that were talking about the basics, talking about what's important when you're starting this, or what you need to be thinking in a day-to-day situation, it just wasn't out there. So when I developed this idea, it was talking to people who have done it, and it was asking questions and listening to stories about, oh man, this time we were dealing with these hookers and blah, 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 blah. And it's funny stories, but there was so much training and content that was involved in the simplicity of the story that you wouldn't get when you go to a class. You don't get when you're only talking about shootings. You don't get when you're only talking about, use of force things to a degree where someone gets hurt, or it is basically in danger of dying. And I think that was where I wanted this to be, is I wanted to deal with the concepts that people don't talk about on a regular basis. And after talking to a few of the instructors for quite some time about it, it was, there's things like situational awareness. That's a huge, huge topic. that no one really talks about. Because that's not just a, hey, cops need to have situational awareness. That's everybody. If I'm sitting here going to an ATM, I should know what's going on around me. I should have some kind of idea, because if I don't have an idea or I don't understand what's going on, someone could walk up behind me and try to steal my money. Someone could seriously hurt me and endanger my life. And that's just a basic concept. That's something that people should know and should do, just because it's important to regular everyday life, not just cops, not just firefighters or paramedics or military members, but anyone. So we started developing these ideas, and there was things like dealing with case law and stuff that was actually specific to career fields that were involved in this first responder career field. Obviously dealing with a lot of cops, we're going to do with more cop-driven ideas, cop-driven concepts, such as report writing, or such as dealing with case law, or dealing with different tactics to deal with people, word jujitsu, as it were, or different concepts like that are basic concepts that can save you a lot of hassle, a lot of trouble, a lot of problems, if you can learn how to master them. And so that's what we started to do. And I know I have a few of them up there. I have a couple videos saved on my computer that I just need to go through and edit, and I will get to those at some point. But it's just, that was the idea behind the channel when it initially started. And I think that was a huge idea. I love the idea. I still love the idea, and we're still kind of talking about those things, but we've broadened the spectrum, as it were. I know that we were going to talk about articulation and being able to speak and being able to explain yourself in a way that, say, a court or a jury panel would understand you. And those are things that we're still looking forward to do videos on, and I'm super excited about doing all that stuff. So don't think that content's going to stop. We're just adding more. And that's where we kind of run into this situation where I met Mike. And Mike had a whole different kind of concept for what he wanted to do as far as putting content out to people. And when we kind of paired together and partnered together, we started this value segment. And you'll see a lot of it with people like Ryan, people like Tyler, Jesse's on there, Dan's on there. We got some pretty cool people out there that have really hooked us up with their life stories and their life problems. As a matter of fact, a couple weeks ago, we had Matt on, and he kind of went through some PTSD stuff that was extremely important. I've heard a lot of things from people on the backside of it after they've watched the episode that they wish they had heard it earlier in their life. And that's really what this has turned into. These vlogs and these video casts and the podcast is just getting content out to people for things that they need to hear. Because I've talked to quite a few people and they're like, well, no one wants to hear my story. Well, that's not true. Your story, although it's your story and you know what your story is, that doesn't mean that somebody else doesn't need to hear it. And even if it's something as simple as talking about, I don't know, how you helped a girl out of a tree, it can go a long way for somebody who was stuck in a tree. And if it wasn't for somebody like you, or somebody like that firefighter or that police officer who came and talked them down and got them to get out of the tree or helped them get out of the tree, you don't realize how that could affect someone or help somebody. Maybe they were struggling with issues like that. Maybe they had some problems like that. I know that that's been a huge thing with the PTSD stuff, is you've got a lot of people suffering from it, and they don't talk about it. And I've had a few people reach out since that episode aired and we released that episode that realized that they were struggling with something and they shouldn't have been doing it alone. And I know that's hard to talk about. That's why I text Matt. I've texted him a couple times since that episode and thanked him, because if somebody doesn't get on here and talk about it, then somebody who needed to hear it didn't get an opportunity to. And I know that for him, it was extremely therapeutic, and he actually thanked me for it, and I didn't do anything. I just sat here and asked him questions about it. And he did all the work. He was the one who was talking about something that was extremely serious that happened in his life. And if you guys want to know what happened, you can go back and listen to it. It's on YouTube. It's on the podcast stuff. You can find it at battlerattle.com. These guys right here, they have it on their site. So I'm not going to spoil any details. I've had a lot of people ask me, just tell me the story. And, well, that's no fun. That defeats the purpose of hearing the story from the horse's mouth. So, yeah. And, you know, what's been cool about it is that I've had this opportunity to talk to people like Ryan, who he just completed an Ironman. And if you ever think that you're dealing with adversity, go talk to that guy. He just did 140 something miles and had all sorts of shit just fall apart the entire time that he was there. And if you ever think you're dealing with adversity, you go talk to that guy, because he still pushed through and he still earned that medal. And again, I'm not going to spoil the story here, but it's on the channel, the episode before this one. So take your time, go listen to it, go watch it, go enjoy it. Those guys have great stories. I'm just here as a facilitator. And I tell a lot of people when they ask me what I do, why I do it, I'm just given a platform. I have been completely blessed with people who want to talk. I've been completely blessed having a sponsorship with Battle Rattle, who they are the ones who help me at every turn and who have assisted me with everything, and I give all the credit back to them, and I appreciate everything that they've done. And I couldn't thank that more than enough, and that was a complete accident. So it's just, I just want to be able to give people an opportunity to speak. And I know that this is a long, drawn-out explanation of the channel and what I'm about and what this whole thing's about, but I think it's important. I think that it's important for you guys to understand, as the listeners, as the viewers, that this isn't just something that I'm doing because I want to get famous. Because I've had a few people say that you're just doing this to get famous, and I'm not. I don't talk like majority of the time that I have a guest on. I don't talk majority of the time when it's me and Mike. I like to facilitate. I like to talk to the people and ask specific questions and let their story just develop like a flower. You know, if I'm there sitting here trying to prune it every second, you're never going to see those beautiful petals, and it's never going to grow to its potential. So I don't want to be here to be in the way. I want to give that opportunity to people who want it. And if you know anyone who wants to tell their story, who has something that they think that people should listen to, please tell them to get in touch with me. You can reach me on the comments here. You can reach me on Instagram. I'm on Facebook with Sheepdog Ops. It's pretty much everywhere. I have a Twitter account. I wouldn't trust the Twitter account because that is one thing I don't really do. I have it. I post stuff on it once in a while, but it's not very often. So I wouldn't bank on me responding there real quick. But Instagram, Facebook, Sheepdog Ops on both. I'm extremely responsive. I'm on there all the time, checking messages, checking stuff like that. We're working with quite a few different people to try and get some more interminglings with vet groups and other police support groups or fire support groups or paramedic support groups. And I thank those guys for reaching out or for taking the time to listen to me. We've had some pretty cool people that I've gotten to talk to. So, and we're trying to get them involved so that way we can help at every level that we can. I feel like this is pretty much the end of my ramble and rant. I appreciate you guys who have listened all the way through. There isn't a whole lot that I have as far as promotions and things like that are going on. I know Battle Rattle is still doing their Memorial Day special, buy two, get one free, I believe it is. I'll have the ad after this video, after I'm done talking and I clear this one out. Go over there and check out their stuff. Remember, they've got all of my gear there. You can find all your Sheepdog Ops gear, whether it be tank tops, hoodies, shirts. We got a few designs. We're actually, I'm trying to come up with a couple more so that way we have some new stuff, not just the same old tiresome stuff. Obviously, you've got Battle Rattle stuff. They've got really awesome gear. Go check them out. Go find them on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff. They're coming out with new shirts every day, and I see it in our thread. I see it in all our stuff. They've always got these kick-ass ideas going on, so go check them out. Go support them. Give them some love. Tell them that Jerry sent you, and I know for a fact that Mike and the guys over there are more than happy to help you out and hook you up and take care of what you need. They do custom orders and stuff like that. Actually, I think I saw an ad that they're starting to do hats and stuff, so really get over there. Go check out what they've got going on. They've got a lot of really badass stuff starting up. Outside of that, we will be starting the Motivational Monday stuff here. Hopefully this week. I've been working with Ryan with 50 Cal Fit, and we're going to start our own segment there. It's going to be freaking awesome. We're going to put together some workout stuff. We're going to put some nutritional stuff. We're going to answer questions from Instagram. We're going to answer questions, and hopefully we'll end up going live on Instagram and giving people an opportunity to talk to us live and do that whole bit so that there's more interaction. So it's not just me throwing up a video and you guys hopefully enjoying it. Outside of that, me and Mike are starting up some live streaming stuff that we want to get out there. You guys go check it out. Go on their Facebook page. Most of it will probably be on their Facebook page. You might see some of it on Sheepdog Ops. A lot of that will probably just be me by myself. But with me and Mike, it will definitely be on Battle Rattle. We'll be on we'll be on Instagram and stuff like that. So go ahead and check all that stuff out. I'm trying to think and make sure I don't forget anyone or anything. I want to tell you guys thank you for helping me to drive what I do. I've got a lot of really awesome people in my corner, and I couldn't thank them enough. You know, you got a bunch of supporters who like what I do, who follow everything that I do, who listen to everything, despite the fact that I don't say a whole lot, but they enjoy me and they think they really give me the opportunity to keep the drive and keep going on with this because it's fun. I enjoy it. And even though sometimes it gets hard, I do enjoy it, and those people remind me how much I enjoy it. So other than that, you guys can support us right here on, well, not here on YouTube, but you can support us on the actual Patreon account that I've got going on the Anchor app. We do have it set up for that if you guys feel the need to. Most of the stuff that when you buy the equipment or buy the gear, that stuff goes back into this, so that way we can up the production value. See, look, I got a nice fancy mic now. I got a cool brand new camera and stuff like that. So it's not looking all shoddy like it was when we first started this whole thing. So it's really grown and blossomed, and I'm fucking stoked about the whole thing. So other than that, I don't think I have a whole lot else. I want to make sure I get my shout out to Mike and Battle Rattle one more time. I love those guys. We'll be hooking up with Ryan at 50 Cal. I think that's all I've got. That's it. So we're going to end this like we always do. Don't be the sheep in the fight, be the dog.